All right, so here we are again, and as I said before, we're going to do this slow because what we want to achieve is big and phenomenal and huge, and it must bring a change to people's lives exactly like how the reggae lyrics are, you know. It cannot just be entertainment and wishful thinking. We do need people to come out of poverty. We do need to have, repatriation and reparations, and just an improvement in the standard of life for everybody. So we're gonna take it slow because if we hurry, as I say, that's the race is not for the swift, but for he who endures. Or as I was growing up in Kenya, there was a saying that said, "Hurry, hurry has no blessings." So that type of thing. And we'll take it easy. We are one people, and we're just going to settle that part of it. So, and also, it could backfire on me. If I was, because I've seen it. I've seen this cultural appropriation thing where people want to come across like they're yardies, and have the accent down and all those different things. And I could do it, because I have a bit of an acting ability, right? So I could do it. I could even bust a few proverbs, some Jamaican fire there, most tail and blah blah blah, all of that and sound like, what I'm saying. But there's a danger in that, because if you do that convincingly, right, and then people say, "Wow, yeah, man, you know everything about Jamaica and blah blah blah, in one away," and then somebody might bust a joke, and everybody start laughing, and you didn't get it because you don't know 100% everything, but it's a type of thing that every Jamaican's supposed to know, and you one are not gonna laugh. Then everybody start looking you away and say like, "Boy, nah, this brother something wrong with him," because like, boy, what kind of Jamaican would not laugh at that joke? You know what I'm saying? So I hope you can hear a little bit of patois there, a little bit of Danish accent, a little bit of Malawian, a little bit of South African, a little bit of UK, London, because that's my story. So there is a lot to unpack, a lot to talk, and I speak Spanish as well. So there's a lot to talk. Speaking of Spanish, I've never met this gentleman who was speaking about Beres Hammond and Buju Banton and the fees they're demanding, and the crowd that they command. um, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here, because there's been a lot of talk about reggae being dead, and what I'm responding to goes as far back as Buju's remarks on Afrobeats, on that Champions platform, and all of that. And but the prevailing thing is going to be, we're not here to put down anybody, or I mean, we're coming out of colonialism, out of slavery, uh, and I'm a reggae artist. And the reason why I come into reggae is because these things were weighing heavy on my mind, and there was a way of dealing with it, which was a gift through Bob Marley and especially Peter Tosh. And so that's who we are. It is the platform and the forum for us to deal with certain things in history that have not been dealt with adequately until this day. So a sober mind and an open mind and patience is very important. So I give thanks for everybody who is contributing today in different ways to make this discussion. I just see it as a family talk. We all have family, and we all have problems in family. Sometimes it's inheritance problems, sometimes it's, and we know we've got to sit down and talk a little. So there's a song that we're sending Jamaica way concerning that. But I'm just going to pick up my piece of paper. Of course, I just mentioned Extra Fix, and we're thankful for them and the job they're doing. And of course, the remarks from Julian Garcia, the Barcelona promoter. And we're going to be dealing with some of the things that he talked about. And then my favorite here is Dejas Match Kwasi, who gives a good starting point from some serious reasoning. I particularly enjoy the presentation of His Imperial Majesty as the one and only true Pan-Africanist. And I can second that. you know, so I love that. And then there's Copeland Forbes, you know, Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh is high up there for me because Peter Tosh had the physical likeness of my favorite uncle, Uncle Samuel. And he was a Peter Tosh fan. And he was the first man who ever showed me a ganja plant while we were walking through the ghetto in Zambia. Ah, so history in Lusaka. So history is coming out a little bit. That's where I was born. I won't tell you everything yet, but we're family. Let's take time to know each other. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I'll come to Jamaica and you're coming home to my place. You're coming home. I don't know. I don't know what other plans you have. You might have to cancel them. You're coming home to Malawi. I was born in Zambia. We're from Malawi. You're coming home. And there's a lot of things we're going to do in Africa. So let's take it easy. Little by little. Copeland Forbes. And then I have Clive Hunt on this because for a specific reason. And that's going to come out as well. And with Muta Baruka. Great getting perspective from Muta for over these years. It's been fantastic, and I was lucky to meet Muta Baruka in Malawi. I hope the brethren remembers. That was in 2010. And he came for a project. I think they've been in Zimbabwe before, you know, with Mama C from Tanzania, and we had our own artist from Malawi who was playing guitar. And Muta Baruka was there as well, and my empress at the time did an interviewed Muta Baruka, and he was following in the footsteps of a brethren from Jamaica who had established a radio station in Malawi. So maybe Muta remembers us riding in a minibus and going up to do some filming in the tea estate and all that. So enough things to talk about. Buju Banton, I met Buju in Barcelona one time when his computer got stolen from the tour bus. I was jogging. I didn't have any money for the show, so I missed it. But I went jogging early one morning, and as I was jogging on the beach, one Rasta man was coming from the direction of the Apollo. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So they're coming from partying, and I'm going jogging. And he says, oh, Buju is over by the Apollo, and, you know, big thing, computer got stolen, whatever. So I ran over there, and, you know, there was nothing much we could do. I just promised to keep an eye open for anything about a computer. I don't even know how we were going to solve that issue. So, yeah, and who else do we have on this list? We have Copeland Forbes. I think that's basically the people in Jamaica. I'm talking who... Yeah, and then we have, from my side, the people I've worked with now. This project that I'm presenting to you, I'm not alone, you know. We are a team, and I'm basically spearheading the work. And I have associates who are doing their own works, but we are a network. And at the top of it is Askale Selassie, Yvonne Griffith Gale. Everybody knows her. And she worked with Tough Gong for the publishing side of it, you know, and the promotions as well, and all that sort of tour manager. Well, I think tour manager, but I don't believe it. Wailing Souls and other artists as well. And Sister Carrie, Australian Rasta woman, who was of great assistance to I in South Africa. You know, when I started this huge mission of mine that I will tell you about, okay? Easy now, just chill. Go roll a spliff. In fact, don't go roll a spliff. Go buy some herb. Go buy a couple of pounds of herb because we've got a lot to talk about. You know, a reason we are reason 9. I was like, this is reggae, right? So let's do this. Let's take it easy. We're going to make a whole series out of it. The Reggae Kitchen, where we're cooking up ideas. And then Mojiba, I have not met her personally, but we reasoned a lot. Mojiba, the daughter of Count Ozzy, she's on the ground, and she'll be very happy to see this video because it's really going to give her the ammunition to go ahead with the task that we have designated for her. You know, so now you know that. And yeah, and then we also some ammunition here from some people. Did some work, collaboration online when I was in South Africa with Aston Barrett Jr. We did a song, and the backing vocals in that song were provided by Erica Newell, which is very good. And finally on this list, no, not finally, um, also had Deborah Sullivan, or she's better known as Princess, from a band called the Rocker Rebels or Rebel Rockers from California side. And she put me in touch, or she organized for me to perform at Reggae for a Reason by Fully Fullwood, and I met Fully there. And I also met Peter Tosh Cousin, which was really cool for I. And then finally on this list is Ziggy Marley. And Ziggy Marley is the very first Jamaican reggae artist and Rastaman that I ever spoke to. And that's another story to tell, because this is one big testimony. You know, we deal with Rastafari, His Imperial Majesty. So it's a testimony. You know, in this great future, you can't forget your past. The future is great. So let's talk about the past and all the great things that His Imperial Majesty, that God Almighty, has done for I and I. That's how we deal with reggae music. Not so. Come on. Blessed. No, don't make no mistake. I never been to Jamaica, and I never really tried to appropriate and pretend. What I have is from real interaction with Jamaicans, and I learned very early on that it's not good to try pretend to be Jamaican. And I learned that from a youth whose parents were Jamaican in London, and Neville Wright, Ruben. We had a band together, and he was the first youth with dreadlocks who I parred with, because when I went to England, which is another long story, no youths were growing dreadlocks, no youths were listening to roots reggae. It was all ragamuffin. So playing roots reggae, me and this brethren busking in London, you know, I learned a lot from him, and also learned the do's and the don'ts. And it's like, I mean, he would always speak with the English accent, because he says, I'm British. He can speak patois properly, but he's British. And I learned it's very important to just be who you are. So the little patois that's going to come out through is what's coming from the heart. It's not the put on. It comes, and then you say, oh, hold on, did I hear a little bit of Jamaican there? People say, I could swear you from yard, I could swear from. I said, no, man, I haven't even been there, because I'm on a different trip. I'm on the message, the entire message, you understand? So there's a few things that I learned, I have a song out there called Thank You Jamaica. And I thought I was saying something really good by talking about Thank You Jamaica, until Ascali Selassie, who's a mother to me, she says, well, thank you Jamaica for what? Because when I say Jamaica, to her as a Rasta, she's talking about the establishment in Jamaica. When I say Jamaica, it basically means the Rastas. I'm saying, thank you the Rastas for the reggae. And she said, how you can thank Jamaica for reggae? That's thank the ghetto, thank Trenchtown, thank Rasta, but don't thank Jamaica. Jamaica fight down reggae. So these are the things that are important to know when we're dealing with this, and to be aware, and let's do it properly, because we've got a huge work ahead. You know what I'm saying? Blessed love.